that we were converting into a script. And in the book there was an actress, an Indian background actress who was from London. And this actress, Nadine Rahantula from Berlin, was coming over to Dublin, and she said, "I'd like to talk to you about this film as a possibility." And this was on Friday, and I thought, well, instead of just talking to her, that won't let me know if she can act. I need to know how she is in acting. So I wrote this film. It's a 3-minute film, and I wrote it very quickly. And my sister's friend was getting married, and she had been talking about this flower shop that they were very kind. So I got the number of the flower shop, and I said, "Are you open on Sunday?" And they said no. And I said, "Well, can I use your shop for a couple of hours on Sunday?" And then I got together, do you know the SLR camera, the Canon, I think it was the 7D Canon? So you get beautiful pictures, but the sound isn't so great in it. I got a digital recorder, a Zoom digital recorder, to record the audio separately. And then I asked them could they leave a bunch of flowers, and somebody came and opened the flower shop. And I brought the actress, and then I rang up some friends. And this guy is just one of the friends that I knew, and he became the actor. And we went and we shot the film. And so we shot it. That was literally it. It cost me €30 for the flowers, and then I brought everyone to lunch to say thank you, and that cost €50. So that was the €80 budget. Okay.
But when I heard about the budget, I wasn't available that day.
Yeah, he wasn't available that day. So that was very organic. That was just me pulling in all of the different elements. And then what happened was I drove around in the car for a few days, forgot the little audio recorder in the back because I was doing other things, and my car was broken into, and the audio was stolen. So I was left with the pictures and no sound. So nothing happened for a month or two, and then I looked again at the pictures, and I thought it's a sweet little film. I'd like to do something with this, but I've no audio, just a really bad audio from the camera that we shot it with. So I called a friend of mine, and he gave me this advice. And we got a sofa in a couch, and we stood the couch up, and then we got another one, and we dropped a microphone and made it a sound booth, and the actors redid the audio. So all the audio you heard in that film was done in between two couches.
Next time you can try getting the audio in the car.
That would do it. I've done that actually. I've done interviews in cars, but the story with the couches is nicer as well. And that's how. So all the audio was recreated, which was kind of nice because we were able to do that and rebuild the whole audio soundtrack. Just very quickly. This one, because we have no budget at all, we found Short Film Depot, and that's something you should write down if you're submitting films, because you can get this presentation. Yeah, you can get this presentation later, which is no use to you unless you listen to me talk, because it's just a lot of pictures. Hopefully it will remind you of what I've said, the parts that are of interest to you. And that's it, Short Film Depot. And like Without a Box, you write in the details of the film and off you go. Through that we got selected into all of those different films. We got to travel a bit. Again, our distributor took it. And then we sent it to the Jemison Dublin Film Festival, which is the biggest film festival in Ireland, and they liked it. So we premiered it there, and then it sold to all those TV stations. So we actually made quite a bit of profit on this movie. Okay. And Etihad bought it as well. We like Etihad. You should all fly Etihad.
Do you want to say how you got Etihad on board?
How did I get Etihad on board?
The distributor, it's basically up to you to promote your film. Like the film board will make token efforts, or the distributor will make a token effort. But if you're thinking about how to sell a film, like our distributor sold the second film, Veronique, to NBC Asia, which covers billions of people, and we know that people all over Asia saw it because they come back to us and they say we saw the movie.
You get a phone call from a hotel in Bangkok, in Thailand, saying, Dec, it's me, your friend. I'm on my way to Australia. I'm watching your film in a hotel room in Thailand, you know. So it was kind of crazy.
We got $150 for the deal through the distributor, which we got half of because we had to pay back the film board.
Yeah, and that half we spent on this film. That's really $80.
So that was less than $20 per billion people. So, but on the other side of the coin, Declan was going to Australia and he phoned up Etihad. He's flagging a better seat, actually, because he's doing a movie or whatever. So he wants to blag a better seat because he's a director. and he sold them the movie while he was on the phone to their marketing department.
I didn't get a better seat though.
But we got a lot more money from Etihad than we did from Hayden.
Yeah, we did. We can tell you kind of the money you can expect to get from the different places. Bill can tell you that. But just very quickly, what we learned from that whole process is that the people to hold on to are the camera people that you work. Anyone you have a good working relationship with, it's really important to hold on to those people and help each other out. I use the same DOP a lot, though he's getting quite famous now. So I don't know how much longer he can work on low budget stuff. Sound engineer, and then if you collect a database of actors, every time you audition for a film, you're spending time looking at actors. So take notes, because you'll forget, but take notes, keep the photographs and all, and showings and all of that kind of thing, because then later when you're doing another film, you know, you can look back and you can continue to work with those actors, and that keeps your costs down if you're not having to go through casting process. Because one of the big things about low budget film is that time is money also, you know. And then the other thing as well is that if you use this success to get clients to do, like I do commercial work, I do TV commercials in Switzerland. I have an agent in Paris, and they get me work doing TV commercials in Switzerland. I don't speak German, so I arrive there and I go action, and then they all start speaking German and doing funny things, and then they all go quiet, and I go cut. And then that's it. And then they pay me loads of money and I go home. And then I use that money to make other films. So that's all because they like to say, oh, we are hiring this guy who has all of these awards and things. So it's important to try and keep, you know, to keep those clients also. And then when you're traveling with your film, every opportunity you have to travel with your film, you travel with your film. And you always make sure that you have business cards and all of this kind of thing. And the people that you're looking for are distributors. The reason for this, if you remember, the film board gave me a distributor for the first film, and I thought, this is great. And then I was in Hollywood at LA Shorts Film Festival, and the distributor from Stars, which is possibly the biggest distributor in the world, came over and said, I love your film. Have you got a distributor? And I had to say yes. I got this tiny little distributor in Ireland who has the rights to the film. So the guy went and walked away, and that was, you know. So when you find distributors, you take their details because I didn't at the time. I didn't have his card, and there's no way that I can get through to that guy now because he has so many secretaries, you know. So you at every opportunity you gather these people, because the next film I could have called them and said, you like my last film, will you distribute my new film? Festival selectors, because again, it's not just about getting your film into a festival. When your film gets into a festival, you get into the festival, you get to meet all the people, you get to hand out your card, and you get to meet other people. So, and then the next film that you get out, instead of going through this without the box and all of these things, you just send an email to the festival selector that you made friends with and say, and they will look at your film. So these are really important people. And then producers. Because, for example, I work with Bill, you know, whenever we work together, you know, Bill does the production. But sometimes you might want to do a film that involves Germany, for example, and you found a producer who is either from Germany or a producer who you know, has already done co-production films with Germany. So in that case, you're looking for those kind of people. So there are three people. Again, if you email me and get this presentation, you know, it'll tell you that. And then the other people to really find are musicians who haven't signed a record deal. Really important, okay? And if you are creative people, and I imagine you are creative people if you're here, well then you probably know creative people who are writing music, if you don't write music already yourself. And this is one of the greatest problems with low budget film, is getting good music. Because who knows everything about, you know, music rights and using music in films? Does anybody know everything about that? Right. Because I'll give you, this is the important thing to remember. If I stand and write a song now I own the publishing rights. So I own one of three rights. I own the publishing rights. I've written the song. I can keep those, or I can sell those. I might sell them to Sony. So even though I write the song, I might not maintain those rights, I might sell them, okay? So I sell them to Sony. Sony gets George Michael to come in and sing my song. So George Michael is singing the song on a television station. The television station are recording him singing the song. So now Sony own the publishing rights, George Michael owns the performance rights, and the television station own the recording rights. And when I go to use that song in my film, I have to get permission from Sony, I have to get permission from George Michael, and I have to get permission from the television station. And if I don't get any one of those three permissions, I can't use the song. Okay? If instead I go up to George Hans, right, or whatever, he's been sitting there in his bedroom and he wrote a song. So he wrote the song. This is great. And then he goes over and he gets his iPhone and he gets the recording app on his iPhone and he records himself singing the song, right? And it comes out nicely. And now he has a really nice recording of the song. He now owns the publishing rights because he wrote it, he owns the recording rights because he recorded it, and he owns the performance rights because he sang it. So I can say, George, can I use your song in my film? He signs a thing saying, yes, that's it, I've got it, okay? So what I do is, whenever I hear music that I like, I go up to the band and I say, look, have you got a record deal? And if they say no, I say, can you send me, are you interested in having your music in a film? And they say yes. Because they always say yes, because it's great for them, right? And then I get them to send me the music, and I get them to sign over the, say yes, we let Declan use the music in films. And I keep a database of all that music. So for example, in that first film, and you don't have to feel bad about this, because the first film showed all over the world, it showed. And every time it played, the guy who wrote the song in it got money from the recording royalty people. So your musicians, if your film is successful, your musicians will get money, okay? And then the other thing as well is social media. More important than ever now is social media, because this also for funding, to promote your film, but also to find funding. I don't know if you have crowdfunding in Romania. Do you have your own crowdfunding, Romanian crowdfunding, or do you have funded?
You have crowdfunding.
Yeah, is it funded.com or is it a local one?
It's a local one.
A local one.
So two actually.
Yeah. So these things are becoming. I know people who've made films with this kind of thing. So that works. Okay. Any questions on any of that? Right. The most important part of a low budget film is the script, because it is the script that pulls people together on the project. So do you want to talk a little bit about, Bill has a master's degree in script writing, so do you want to talk a little bit about that? Or?
Well, I mean, it depends how far you go into it. For example, how you present your script. I mean, Final Draft is the standard. You can get other software programs, but I don't know if they're of any use. But Final Draft is €120, so that gets you with a well-presented script. I found in television Final Draft AV for doing factual television. I thought that would be. I always wondered why Final Draft didn't also give you a template for documentaries, but you have to buy a separate one, which I did buy. And then I was working in factual television, and I found nobody uses Final Draft AV. They just use Word, and they draw up two boxes and put audio on one side and visual on the other, and then they think you're a nerd because you've gone out and bought software. But I think Final Draft for drama is essential.
It's essential to format your script. I mean, I'm sure this is very basic stuff, and you probably know this, but I have had scripts sent in to me that are not formatted in the correct way. And if you're trying to present your script professionally, it's just so important. Final Draft is great, and if you do get a big budget thing, it's a good idea to use the money to buy these things, because then when you don't have the money, you still have the software. But with a good script, I've worked on projects where there's a lot of money been involved, and the people who walk in are top professionals, but the reason that they're working there is because they're getting paid good money. And sometimes then, the shoot is running over, you need an extra couple of hours from them, but they're on the clock, and they're not, their heart isn't in the project, so it's very difficult. Whereas with a low budget project where people are getting paid in some cases nothing, or in other cases something very small, if they're going to work on the project, they're actually interested in the project. You know, so a good script, that you let them read it, you let them make a decision before they say yes. Let them read the script and let them say, I love the script and I want to be involved. And then you know you're getting a commitment from them. What was the reference to the amnesty thing?
Yeah, that was a very complex script. So if you're doing a low budget, you have no budget really. So you have to have a script that matches that fact that you have got no money. You can't be having spaceships and aircraft carriers, and well, you can't have a big action movie if you don't have the money to make it. So you cut your cloth to suit your measure, as I say. So you pick a nice little drama that doesn't cost too much money to make. The first project that we worked on together, where I was quite naive as a producer, had this ridiculously complicated script where you had...
Can I show just a very quick thing on the amnesty one?
Yeah, there were 5 scenes, each completely separate, with separate characters, separate sets, separate stories. It was like 5 short films. And then within those 5 films, there were 5 TV sets with their own little dramas going on. So you had 10 short films, basically, in this 5 scenes, which was a bit harsh on the producer, I thought.
I'll just very quickly show you what we're talking about. So,
it was to show human rights, how people can make a difference by